Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Disruptive Education. This is Pradeep Mall, Ambassador of Change from GETI, the Global Education and Training Institute from Lucknow. And we thank our mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi, for this excellent format of disruptive education that she has provided to us, where we are able to meet with and interact with uh, people from India and all over the world in the education field, all eminent people. And we've had more than 575 such interactions till now. And today we are very happy to have with us uh, Madam L. Nirmala Kumari. She is the principal of the Prasiddhi school in Bangalore, Karnataka. She has an experience of 33 years. She has an MA in English, a MA in Hindi, and a B.Ed. She is passionate about teaching and learning, and especially the new methods of teaching. And as a principal, she is very friendly and is approachable by nature. She will be speaking on perceptions about relationships around schooling. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us. And over to you.
Thank you, Pradeep sir. Happy evening and a happy new year to all those who are a part of today's session. At the outset, I would like to congratulate and salute Team GETI, the Global Education and Training Institute, for their remarkable contributions to the cause of disruptive education, especially during a pandemic situation like this. Hats off to you, Sunita ma'am. I'm very impressed with the key values that they stand for. Learn, teach, and share. These words speak volumes, especially to the teacher community in general. I feel this threefold path, when followed, is sure to lead every teacher on the path of success. A teacher has to be a lifelong student and a willing learner throughout the career. Equip oneself to teach effectively, and the most important of all, always be ready to share whatever is acquired through the experiences so that it benefits the whole of the teaching community. Sorry, the student community. So let's get started without any further delay with our today's topic. Perceptions about relationships around schooling. Perception. What does it mean to perceive something? It's to understand or become aware of something or whatever we experience through our senses. It is a mental impression. When we talk about students' perceptions, it refers to their thoughts, beliefs, and feelings about people, situations, events, etc. around schooling. Schooling is the most cherished phase of one's life. It is the time when every student gains some of the most valuable learning experience, which in turn sets a strong foundation for one's inner compass as they navigate life. This in turn reflects everywhere. Could be at the university, the workplace, family, neighborhood, and so on. A relationship is a living entity. It takes a degree of awareness, willingness, and commitment to keep it healthy and private. Which are the relationships that are woven around schooling? So it's a huge circle. Parent teacher, student student or the peer group, and administrator, teacher, student. Parent teacher relationship. Home is the first school, and parents are the first teachers. When children enter the school, It becomes their second home, and the teachers become their extended parents. So, the school and the teachers have a huge responsibility because they play a significant role in shaping their personality and in their all round development. To quote Mahatma Gandhi ji, by education, I mean an all round drawing of the best in child and man in body, mind, and spirit. So, it is something education should bring an all round development in the child. Parent teacher partnerships. Of course, there is a lot to speak about this, but I have confined it to the three C's. Communication. Meet parents on a regular basis, both formal and informal, because a parent who wants to share about either learning disabilities, behavioral problems, or weaknesses of his child may not feel free to do so during a parent teacher meeting. Appreciate the parent and give them the credit if you notice even a slight improvement in the performance of the child, saying, "This wouldn't be possible without your efforts." This will result in improved educational outcomes of students. Communication. Communication through a phone call to a parent must always begin with a pleasant note. The parent must not panic that it could be either a medical emergency or a complaint about the behavior or about the poor performance in academics. Special calls can be made occasionally just to inquire about how the child is doing at home or if the parent needs any kind of help from the side of the teacher. This will help in removing the general phobia that the call is always for a negative remark about their child. I wish I had learned this earlier. Consistency. The meetings can be consistent throughout the year. It should be made a routine, not like our New Year resolutions, which is high on the first day and then it fades away gradually. Mutual respect and appreciation for the efforts taken in molding the child into a knowledgeable and good human being must not be missed out. Provide information regarding what's going on in the class or about the active participation of the child in the classroom or the school activities. Collaboration. A collaborative, cooperative effort is always paid off. Listen to the parents and know more about their skills, interests, etc. And invite them when there is an opportunity for them to showcase their talents. This will bring a sense of belongingness. For example, at the primary level, grandparents can be invited for a storytelling day, or the sports personnel. No, he could be invited as the chief guest on the sports day. You can include them as members in the parent engagement committee and take their inputs. Thanking parents, both personally and publicly, for their support is very important. Maybe you can thank them during the annual day celebrations or during a parents' meeting. Student-teacher relationship. Teachers who are looking at this slide might think I'm asking you to be a unicorn. And while this is a lot, this list of qualities are what I've seen most committed teachers embody. Kids don't learn from people they don't like. How simple and beautiful this is. This is so very true, and I'm sure each one of us have experienced this irrespective of the age group of the child. Whether the child is studying in the nursery, the primary, or the high school, whatever. Even at home, when a parent asks the child to either complete the homework or study, The child will automatically pick the subject of his or her favorite teacher. If you have to create interest in the subject, show them unconditional love. Students may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. One of my students, whom I've met years back, whom I've taught years back, met me recently. She recollected a small incident on the first day of her high school. Since it was the very first day for the academic year, I had asked the students to introduce themselves. When this particular girl stood up, I had commented saying, "Hey, I look exactly like you in my school days." It seems she felt so proud about that fact that the teacher looked like her. And, she had shared it with almost, all her friends. And she said that she cherishes that moment even now. I'd like to throw light on some of the important qualities of a teacher, like being a role model is the simplest way to inculcate the toughest practices. I repeatedly quote this to both the teachers and the parents. Children don't do as you say, they do as you do. Again, this may sound very simple, but it's very, very hard to accept and practice. Children don't do as you say, they do as you do or what you do. For example, if the teacher is not punctual, comes late to the class, but advises the student, you can imagine what impression is created in the mind of the student. The same is the case with the child at home. You ask the child to study, and if you are watching the television, it will not work. Creating a learning environment, both at school and at home, is more effective in the learning process, and it increases curiosity in the subject. Classroom culture. I'd like to play a short video to show how a classroom culture can be developed among students.
It's a major piece for kids to have a safe and predictable environment. If we create that culture where they know that we love them and we know that we believe in them, that's like vital to closing the achievement gap. The first thing that I do every year is we start by kind of creating that family atmosphere within my classroom, and by doing that we do family greetings. So the kids actually interview each other, asking like, what's your favorite color? What is your favorite game to play? How many siblings do you have, with really simple questions. So they kind of can create that common ground between the two of them. And then they always between the two of us the first month of school. And I think that kind of just starts by creating that sense of family, that classroom culture that we're really looking for. I want the kids to know that it's a fresh new start. So every morning I greet them with a handshake in the doorway, with a handshake, eye contact, a smile, and we practice that a lot at the beginning of the school year, and they know to respond to me with a handshake, eye contact, and a smile, and a greeting as well. And it's kind of letting them know that whatever happened earlier in the morning, you can forget, and this is a fresh start. You're safe in this classroom. We're a family in here. We're going to take care of each other, and it's kind of that fresh start for the day. It's great to have within classrooms, the classroom culture piece and having that family, but it's even more effective if you have it as a whole school. So really implementing it in every classroom, making sure every classroom is feeling safe, making sure as a whole school, you're able to go up to students and talk with them and interact with them, and they feel that safe environment wherever they are in the school, not just within your own classroom. My first teaching job in an urban setting, I could feel the love that they had for me when I was giving the consistent expectations and providing that safe environment. And I just saw them flourish so much. In the beginning of the year, there was, a lot, maybe kids are acting out or struggling or kind of trying to figure out where they belong. But because we create that classroom culture and they know that we're all a family, you kind of see day to day that behavior dwindle away. We've seen it in our test scores, our growth. Every classroom in our school has that classroom culture piece where we've really made it a family atmosphere, a safe, predictable family atmosphere. I think because they know it is safe and predictable, all of their focus is on their academics.
I think this speaks everything about classroom culture. Involve students in planning all the school activities. Most often, you might have noticed that entrusting responsibilities to the students rather than you training them completely might show better results. Respect and accept their new ideologies, which will certainly boost their self confidence. Excavate the talents in every child and help them succeed. You must have read this. This is one of my favorite poems for the message that it leaves. The Mountain and the Squirrel, Waldo Emerson. The mountain and the squirrel had a quarrel, and the farmer called the latter Little Prig. One replied, "You're doubtless very big, but all sorts of things and weather must be taken in together to make up a year and a sphere. And I think it no disgrace to occupy my place. If I am not so large as you are not so small as I, and not half so spry. I'll not deny you make a very pretty squirrel track. Talents differ, all is well and wisely put. If I cannot carry forests on my back, neither can you crack a nut." How beautiful this is. Every child is a beautiful flower in the garden of God. Everything, whether big or small, has its own place in the world. Everything in nature adds variety and beauty, and children are the most beautiful among God's creation. Here is a video of Clint Pulver, who owes all his success to his teacher who identified his talent at a very early age and motivated him to reach such great heights. Clint Pulver is a motivational keynote speaker, author, musician, and workforce expert. He is also a fun, dynamic, entertaining, and the no stress speaker clients love to work with.
Every woman wants beautiful brows, so we tweeze, we thread, and we rip.
I'm sorry, just hold on.
I have a lot of memories from when I was a child.
One that's always stuck out to me, though, was when I was about 10 years old, and I was in school. And I struggled. And I didn't struggle with English, math, or science. I struggled holding still. And I would try to listen and focus and process ideas, but I couldn't help myself. And to be honest, I would sit there and then I would just start tapping. And the students in the class would look at me and they'd say, "Hey, stop tapping." A lot of the time, I didn't even realize I was doing it. And then eventually even the teachers got after me and they would yell at me and they'd say, "Clint, you have to stop tapping." It got so bad that I got sent to the principal's office for tapping. And he said to me, "Okay, maybe when you go back to class, just try sitting on your hands." So I did. I went back to class when I felt myself starting to tap. I did this. I sat on my hands. And that worked for about 5 seconds. One time I was tapping in class, and my teacher, Mr. Jensen, he looked at me and he yelled. And he said, "Clint, stay after class." And I thought to myself, this is it. I am done. Now, I've always been the type of person that believes that a single moment in time can change a person's life. And this was one of those moments for me. And I will never forget it. So I was sitting there with Mr. Jensen and in the classroom. And he walked past me and he sat next to his desk and he said, "Clint, come here. I want to talk to you." And as he looked me right in the eye, he said, "Now, I need you to know something. You're not in trouble. But I do have just one question that I have to ask you." And he said, "Have you ever thought about playing the drums?" And in that moment, Mr. Jensen, he leaned back and he opened the top drawer of his desk. And he reached in and he pulled out my very first pair of drumsticks. And he held them in his hands and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, Clint, you're not a problem. I think you're in trouble." From that moment on, I've never put those sticks down. I've toured, recorded, played drums all over the world. My whole college education was paid for with drumsticks in my hand. Just because of a single moment in time, when somebody believed in me, and he saw something in me that I didn't even see within myself. And from that moment, I learned that there's a difference between being the best in the world and being the best for the world.
Well, that was really inspirational. Then we move on to the student-student relationship. So it is about the peer group. What should be the relationship among the students, among their friends, among the students? What should be the relationship? "Show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are" is a common saying because people with common interests always gel well. Student-student relationship. This is equally important, unlike the teacher-student relationship, because it provides emotional support and makes them strong. Group project works can bring better understanding, build team spirit, and help in bringing out the best in them. Extracurricular and sports activities also build stronger relationships. Curriculum related topics assigned for sessions or debates foster a healthy competition. Changing the seating arrangement frequently so that the students mingle with everybody and that they do not face any adjustment problems. Small groups organized under a mentor supervised by a teacher help in the teaching learning process, thereby helping them to excel in academics. We observe some of the students who are shy natured prefer to get their doubts clarified with their friends rather than the teachers, isn't it? So, coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. So, when as a peer they come together, they stay together to work and work together, that definitely leads to success. not only in case of the student relationship, but to anybody, whether it is to the teachers or the administrators, to anybody, when there is a teamwork and you contribute, definitely, I think whatever we are carrying out now is also one of the best examples for this. All of us are working together for the cause of education. Administrator teacher student relationship. You can say how the school culture revolves around the school leader and the stakeholders. That is the teachers, students, parents, the administrative staff, the transport people. It includes everybody in the school campus. There has to be a perfect coordination in the chain of relationships that are involved. How to be an efficient administrator? Of course, this is a very tough question, but I have found my own ways of dealing with it. Respect and execute the policies framed by the school authorities effectively to build and keep up the school culture. Make yourself available to the teachers whenever they need you. Provide guidance and support in all matters and treat them as your own family. Allow teachers to act independently. Listen to them, welcome their new ideologies, and consult them before taking certain decisions. Empower the teachers through trainings to update themselves so that they face children with more confidence. I'm sure some of us learned now for the first time to handle an online class. I'm proud and happy to say that our teachers have mastered these skills in a very short time. Need is the mother of invention, right? Building team spirit, again, is very, very important. They should exist as one single entity in the school without any differences. Informal meetings, team outings, or dinner together, these may be helpful in achieving this. Timely evaluation of the teacher's competencies is a must. Applaud the outstanding teachers openly. It could be through words of appreciation, a short email, a certificate, anything. But don't fail to boost the morale of the team as a whole. When it comes to relationship with the students, normally it's not a very cordial one. And there is a wide gap seen and their association is limited because the focus is more on the safety and school improvement quite often. Greeting the parents or students by their names or surnames makes them happy and they feel connected. The school atmosphere must be welcoming. The staff must have pleasing manners and must be easily approachable. It is important to listen to their grievances and resolve them at the earliest. Most important of all is the assurance to the parents that they have made the right choice in selecting one of the best institutions to educate their child. So, the anticipated outcomes are you see more engagement in learning, there is academic excellence, they behave better in the class, and totally there is both emotional and social development. To sum up, the ultimate goal of relationships around schooling is to support every child in discovering and living their highest potential. I'd like to end with a small clipping about the 4 true rules to success given by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I think all of us are great fans of Abdul Kalam sir, and each one and Ignited Minds is a book, that should be read by all, and every word that has been told is so thought provoking and so inspirational. It motivates the student community like anything. So when the students are, their minds are ignited, it says no sanction can stand against ignited minds.
We should know how to handle the failures. Particularly, you are in the management environment. I want the young people to understand how to manage the failure. Because any task you do, you have to come across problem. Problem should not become the captain of the individual or the project chief.
The project
The chief should become
the captain of
the
the
captain of the
problems
problems and defeat the problem and succeed.
Learning
Use creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking knowledge. Knowledge makes you great.
History has proven that those who dare to imagine the impossible are the ones who break all the human limitations. In every field of human endeavor, whether science, medicine, sports, arts, or technology, the names of the people who imagined the impossible are engraved in our history. By breaking the limits of their imagination, they change the world. You take C.V. Raman, you take Newton, you take Einstein, you take Chandrasekhar. By breaking the limits of their imagination, they change the world. If you want to be discoverers, if you want to be innovators, I am going to give you what type of characteristic you must have. Invention and discoveries have emanated from creative minds that have been constantly working and imagining the outcome. The telephone, he was imagining the outcome in the mind. With imagining and constant effort, all the forces of the universe work for that inspired mind, thereby leading to invention discoveries.
Sir, I would like to hear from you a few tips for the upcoming generation to succeed in life.
Well, succeeding life, I have already told you.
Yes.
You have to do 4 things, okay? Number 1, great aim.
Great aim.
I will have great aim.
I will have great aim.
I will
I will
continuously acquire knowledge.
continuously acquire knowledge.
I will do hard work.
I will do hard work.
I will persevere
I will persevere
and succeed.
and succeed.
Okay, that's the mantra.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So I think these mantras must be followed by all of us to be successful. I sincerely thank Sunita ma'am and Pradeep sir for inviting me to share my ideas. I hope there is some takeaways for the audience.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And we thank Nirmala Kumari, ma'am, principal of the Prasiddhi School in Bangalore, Karnataka, for this excellent talk on perceptions about relationships around schooling. and she dealt with it very well from teacher, students, etc. It's very, very important to have these perceptions very clear about relationships in schools and the limits of these relationships. We once again thank Dr. Sunita Gandhi for this excellent format of disruptive education. And good evening and goodbye for the present. Meet you in the next disruptive education program. Thank you so much and goodbye.